Hi everyone, hope you're well today. Nice to see you for the first time in a few weeks. So let's do the chanting straight away. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. Buddham saranam gacchami, Dhammam saranam gacchami, Sangham saranam gacchami, Dutayambi Buddham saranam gacchami, Dutayambi Dhammam saranam gacchami, Dutayambi Sangham saranam gacchami, Tatayambi Buddham saranam gacchami, Tatayambi Dhammam saranam gacchami, Tatayambi Sangham saranam gacchami. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya. I take refuge until I am enlightened in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. Through the positive potential I create by practicing the 6 paramitas, may I soon attain enlightenment in order to benefit all sentient beings. I take refuge until I am enlightened in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. Through the positive potential I create by practicing the 6 paramitas, may I soon attain enlightenment in order to benefit all sentient beings. I take refuge until I am enlightened in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. Through the positive potential I create by practicing the 6 paramitas, may I soon attain enlightenment in order to benefit all sentient beings. May all sentient beings have happiness and its causes. May they be free from suffering and its causes. May they never be parted from the happiness beyond suffering. May they abide in equanimity, free of bias, attachment to the near, and aversion from the far. I shall cause this. Great compassionate Buddha, please inspire me to be able to do so. Reverently, I prostrate with my body, speech, and mind, and present clouds of every types of offerings, actual and mentally transformed. I confess all of my negative actions accumulated since beginningless time, and rejoice in all the virtues of all holy and ordinary beings. Please remain until cyclic existence ends, and turn the wheel of Dharma for all sentient beings. I dedicate the virtues of myself and others to the great enlightenment. However innumerable all sentient beings are, I vow to save them all. However inexhaustible my delusions are, I vow to extinguish them all. However immeasurable the Dharma teachings are, I vow to master them all. However endless the Buddha's way is, I vow to follow it completely. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Tayata Gati Gati Paragati Parasangati Bodhiso. Tayata Gati Gati Paragati Parasangati Bodhiso. Tayata Gati Gati Paragati Parasangati Bodhisoha. So for those of you who are struggling to have video, I'll put the camera on, the bottom left-hand corner, I think second from the left, okay? And you just sort of click on the picture of the camera. And so the same happened to me before as well, okay? Got that. Yeah, okay, so anyway, hope you're well. Like I said before, let's do some meditation now. Keep the mind upright, bright. Awareness, conscientiousness, mindfulness. So now, gently close your eyes, lips gently touching, tongue resting on the upper palate, in the mouth. And initially bring your mind to your body. And let's release whatever physical tension we may have from the body, starting from the bottom of the body, working your way up to the shoulders, down to the tips of your fingers, and then up to the top of your head. Let's take a few moments to do this now. Then I'll scan your body once more to see if there's any leftover tension that you can release. And when you are ready, initially bring your mind to the tip of your nose and follow the feeling of the breath as you breathe in your nose all the way into your lungs and then back out your nose again. Breathing in, breathing out. Mentally, all you have to do right now is focus on the breath. And if your mind becomes distracted or dull, then replace the mind on the breath, utilizing these antidotes that the Buddha taught. And physically, all we have to do is breathe and sit here. Breathing in and breathing out. If thoughts arise or mental activity arises of any type, don't cling to it or grasp at it. Don't try to force it away or deny it. But naturally and simply just let it go by replacing your mind back onto your breath. And if your mind becomes dull or sleepy, fuzzy, then wake it up a little bit by refocusing on your breath more brightly. You can also add the extra technique of counting your breaths from 1 up to 10. But if you get distracted on the way to 10, go back to 1 at that time. Don't count past 10 because we want the breath to remain the focus, not the counting. So let's practice in silence for a little bit. So now we can feel pleased with ourselves and fill ourselves with universal loving kindness. The feeling of this universal loving kindness is very important. To have this feeling. And also you can utilize the visualization techniques or technique of filling your whole being with the white light or white nectar. Fill yourself with this universal loving kindness. Really be your best friend. Accept yourself. Forgive yourself for whatever reason. If you have engaged in some negativities, forgive yourself. Have positive regret. And resolve not to engage in any of these negative activities again. Think of the Buddha, think of enlightened beings as you engage in this purification practice. And fill yourself with this universal loving kindness. Goodwill, harmlessness, friendship, as mentioned, this wholesome quality. Fill yourself with so much universal loving kindness that it now radiates outwards, overflows, and radiates outwards from your heart to other living beings. Initially, your loved ones, your family and friends. And fill them with the universal loving kindness too. May they be happy, free from suffering, and may they be peaceful. And now also include strangers, those people that you may know a little bit or not at all, that you are indifferent towards, not really attached towards or attached to, or have an aversion towards. You don't really think about them. Very often anyway. But now you're thinking about them, wishing that they are happy, free from suffering, and are peaceful. Filling them with the universal loving kindness. And now also include those you may regard as enemies. Fill them with the universal loving kindness too. And have the wish that they too be happy, free from suffering, and be peaceful. So now let's radiate this universal loving kindness out further and further, distance-wise, starting around your immediate area, to all living beings now, not just people. Those living beings that live in the waters, fly through the air, live on the land, even under the land. Whether they're born from wombs, eggs, moisture, or through transformation. May they all be happy, free from suffering, and be peaceful. We can also have the wish for all living beings to attain enlightenment as well. Have the bodhicitta intention as we engage in this practice. Developing this universal loving kindness and at the same time universal compassion and so on. And now have this loving kindness radiate throughout your whole county or state, everywhere, to all the living beings. And throughout all of the states or counties throughout your country. Have your loving kindness pervade this whole country. And to other countries, those you're familiar with and have an affinity towards. those you're indifferent towards, and those that for whatever reason you may have some negative feelings towards. Radiate this loving kindness to all of these places, and including all the oceans, all the waterways, until your loving kindness pervades throughout this whole planet, down to the core of the earth and to the outermost atmosphere. And now beyond this planet alone, throughout the whole solar system and all of the living beings. And throughout the whole galaxy and the whole universe. Until your loving kindness pervades throughout infinite space. This loving kindness that is generated in your heart or your mind is radiating throughout infinite space to every single living being, to all sentient beings. To all sentient beings, whether weak or strong, great or small, short or tall, seen or unseen, near or distant, born or to be born. May they all be happy, free from suffering, be peaceful, and eventually, in due course, attain enlightenment. So now be present here and now, and we'll recite the dedication prayer. Due to this merit, may I soon attain the enlightened state of the Buddha, so that I may be able to liberate all sentient beings from their suffering. May the precious bodhicitta not yet born arise and grow. May that born have no decline but increase forevermore. And may the precious view of shunyata, not yet born, arise and grow. May that born have no decline but increase forevermore. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dhammaya, Namo Sanghaya. And so, it's a new year since I saw you last. Something new, something not new. Nothing new, everything new, all at the same time. In this common era now, CE, we have 2024. We've left behind 2023. And the next year will be 2025. But actually, just continuum of time, isn't it? We say past, we say present, we say future. But the past is gone. The present is fleeting. As soon as you say present, it's in the past, which is gone. And the future, actually the future never comes. Because when we get what we call a future moment, I'm using that word for convenience right now, when this future present moment comes, it is now the present and then it's the past. Continually changing like this. Nothing has a self like this. So I'm talking about the three times of past, present, and future, but actually all phenomena are like this. Some things last longer than the other things, but they are constantly changing. It looks to us, to our eye, maybe to a hearing, all of the senses, it appears to us that things are lasting, but they're actually constantly changing, becoming something else, which is the number 10 on the 12 links of dependent origination. You know, dependent on ignorance is karmic formations, dependent on karmic formations is consciousness, and so on, until it goes on to becoming or existence. And then from this comes birth, from that comes suffering, old age, sickness, death, and so on, okay? Things are always becoming something else. Myself right now, it looks like probably to you that I'm on the screen. I look kind of similar to what I looked like sort of last year, 3 weeks ago. But actually I've changed, okay? I've got older physically, my mind has changed. Especially I've just restudied for the fourth time, actually, the Lotus Sutra over a period of about a month there. So hopefully I've woken up a bit more. I'm now restudying the Avatamsaka Sutra. The Lotus Sutra, depending on the size of the letters and size of the pages in the book, but I think the one I have is about 400 pages long. And then, of course, there's 3 sutras. There's the Sutra of Innumerable Meanings, And then there is the Lotus Sutra itself, the large part. And then there is the meditation part, the last one, okay, of universal virtue, okay. Then this Avatamsaka Sutra, the book I have is 1,400 pages long. So I think I've read 20 so far, because I like to read really slowly. I don't want to bypass things. You know, there's times when you read or you study something, but actually you think, oh, you know what, I didn't retain hardly anything of that, you know. So that's why I actually do it very slowly. Probably frustrate people sometimes that I read so slowly, considering that I'm supposed to be this Dharma teacher guy, you know, sort of retain things quickly. But actually, I'm quite a slow reader. And part of that, like I said, the main purpose of that is want to get it, you know. So yeah, I've changed. You know, hopefully I didn't change for the worse, but we all have changed in this short period of time since we saw each other last online. Okay, this moment, what I just said, is gone. What I'm saying right now is fleeting. The future never comes. So we say Happy New Year, as I've done, I think 2 years ago, approximately. I said happy, then I gave a commentary on happy, and then a commentary on new, and then a commentary on year. I'll do that this year as well, but I won't. It won't take up the whole class. Okay. So I wrote myself a few notes here. So yeah, Happy New Year, and it's a good opportunity to improve. So any special days, like I say always, any special days like this, like the New Year, like your birthday, like whatever days, the Buddha's birthday, or other religions, significant days as well, if you live in those countries. You know, for instance, Western countries, you know, Christian and so forth. Okay, so like the Christmas day and whatever. These days are good opportunities to improve, to reflect, sit back, reflect, and see whether you're happy with what it is you have been doing and how you've been thinking and so on. And then have some positive regret. That's why I introduced that earlier, even though we didn't really do the practice for very long, it was only 5 seconds. But the repentance practice is really important to do this daily. We do the chanting. We chant the line that says, I confess all of my negative actions that I've accumulated since beginningless time. You know, this is a repentance practice, bringing to mind that you are having some positive regret for that, not clinging regret to make yourself always feel bad. Then you have some resolve, really strong resolve to not engage in negative actions again, or at very least start to decrease the causes of this from within your mind, and think of a virtuous object, okay, and then engage in the practice. So maybe you can, if you're doing it with your eyes closed, maybe you can imagine in front of you as the Buddha, like that, you know, or your teachers or bodhisattva or something, right? Something virtuous, a virtuous object, okay? And you bring to mind this virtuous object so that you don't get lazy in the practice, because just doing it by ourselves actually hasn't worked because we're not enlightened yet, okay? So I think we can be very lazy if we just think of ourselves very ordinary, or if we just think of other ordinary beings. But if you think about a virtuous being, enlightened being in front of you, and then engage in the practice. And if you want to utilize the mantra, there's the longer mantras, which I've introduced to you before, but the shortest mantra for the Vajrasattva practice, which is the repentance practice and the purification practice, utilizing Vajrasattva Buddha, and visualizing in front of you, you know, or on top of your head or something like that, okay, up to you. And then, or just have the feeling that he's there or she is there, he or she. Actually, no, he, no, she, just enlightened being. And then you can Om Vajrasattva Ahum, Om Vajrasattva Ahum, Om Vajrasattva Ahum. And as you're doing this mantra, you can visualize the white nectar, similar to the loving kindness meditation, purifying. And out of the bottom of your body comes all of the yucky things, okay? And this signifies purifying the negative karma, purifying your negativities in your mind. So you can utilize that, utilize the visualization and mantra recitation, or you can go with just the feeling and really bring to mind any negativities you've engaged in, and then have, like I said, positive regret, resolve not to do it again, and think of the Buddha and virtuous being. Okay, so this is one way to improve ourselves. At the same time, we can recognize our good qualities, good qualities such as the loving kindness, such as compassion, generosity, these, and think, you know what, I can improve on that. I have them already. Sometimes I have them more than other times. I need to be more consistent in bringing them to mind and acting upon them. And then you can slowly, or gradually, I should say, increase them and start to work your way towards perfecting them. Okay, so that's important to practice like that. So a good opportunity to practice, be more compassionate and less self-centered. It comes up so often, isn't it? The bodhicitta intention, the great compassion, which also includes the loving kindness and the empathetic joy based on equanimity, the four immeasurables. Be more compassionate, less self-centered, more wise, less ignorant. Okay, self-centeredness comes from attachment to self. Okay, and always wanting to sort of fulfill your senses, your attachments to the senses, the attachment to the sense objects, and even the thought of having things or not having things, disturbing the mind always. Be more compassionate, be more wise, less self-centered, less ignorant. Okay. The more you have this great compassion, the more your wisdom or your mind becomes ripe to realize the supreme wisdom. The more wisdom you have, even if it's conventional right now, the more you will realize that you need to be compassionate. It's kind of like two steps going up the ladder, or two legs, I should say, helping yourself get up the ladder. And like flying like a bird, two wings, If you only have one wing, you go around in circles. So you need to have this compassion, need to have this wisdom. So happy. Adopt the causes of happiness. I've just mentioned them to you already. Have a mind that is free, you could say free from the opposite. So abandon the causes of suffering, free from the ignorance, attachment, aversion, and all of the other mental afflictions that arise due to these three poisonous states of mind. And instead, well, like I said, engage all of your actions and words, as much as possible anyway, on the wholesome state of mind, the causes of happiness. So if you want happy new year, you have to engage in the causes of happiness. Initially, abandoning and avoiding the causes of suffering, because otherwise you're going to experience suffering, aren't you? You want happiness, you experience suffering. Get attached to the suffering even. And then it's difficult to achieve the happiness. Always chasing after something that you think is going to make you happy. But, it's sort of like going on a roller coaster ride. Kind of makes you happy, maybe gives you adrenaline rush, sort of a great vibe. Oh, fantastic. But then it's over, isn't it? And maybe if you go on that ride too much, you end up getting dizzy and suffering. It's sort of samsara is like that, really. The roller coaster of samsara, you could say. So the next thing is new. Obviously, I mentioned before the 3 times, but really there's nothing new, is there? Just continue with things becoming something else. But because of that as well, you could say that every moment is new. So everything is new. Nothing new, everything new. Just interdependency, interconnectedness. Everything is interrelated. Okay. Already mentioned, past, present, future. Also very important to maintain as much as possible the pure intention, the really good intention, okay? Catch yourself when your intention is bad, and even if you don't care type of intention, catch that too. Maintain the pure intention as much as you can. And this will increase naturally. And develop this mind of equanimity, less attachment, less aversion, Once again, more compassion, more loving kindness, more empathetic joy based on this equanimity, less self-centeredness. Really important for our practice, okay? So that's really the New Year message. Happy New Year for 2024 and counting. Okay, so now we will go back into what we were doing prior to our little break, and that is utilizing my book and utilizing the teachings therein, okay, with the explanations. And then, of course, I'll give more explanation if I think it's needed. And we'll do this until the book is exhausted. Actually, I think it's almost all of them we will utilize. Okay, so we've already done, I think it's number 21 we're up to now, if I was right. Yeah, 21. And so there's 50 in the book. So we've already covered almost half. And then we'll do at least one, maybe two today. And then we'll continue doing that until we finish it. And then we'll answer some more questions if I haven't covered them within this teaching. Okay, maintaining the pure intention in our Dharma studies, in our Dharma practice, in our Dharma sharing. And then we'll go on to Master Atisha's teachings, of which I've already had a look at. And I actually posted it on Facebook maybe a week or two ago. So you can scroll down my page and have a look at it yourself. Okay. And yeah, so, before was interesting, wasn't it? Because I couldn't see myself either. And some of you, I know Mum couldn't see herself. So something probably to do with the new Zoom link that you had to set up the camera for it just by clicking it. So that's what happened before. Yeah, otherwise, yeah, it would have been an audio teaching, not a video and audio teaching. Okay, so I just cleaned my glasses before, which is good. This one is be grateful and show appreciation to everyone and all of nature. Be grateful and show appreciation for all we have and don't have, for all of our life experiences in the past, present, and future, and for all of the precious opportunities to improve our wisdom and compassion that this life has presented us with. Be grateful and show appreciation to our parents, relatives, loved ones, and teachers, to our friends, enemies, and strangers, to all sentient beings and all of nature throughout infinite space. Be grateful and show appreciation to the Supreme Buddhas, the Immaculate Dharma, and the virtuous supportive Sangha. Let us be grateful and show appreciation to each other and all that surrounds us. I thank you. I appreciate you. With palms joined, I bow deeply. So this is kind of like an aspiration prayer, but also like a dedication prayer in a sense, okay? And, trying to maintain the pure intention of being appreciative, of being grateful. So let's dissect it a little bit. What we got? 3 minutes or so. So next one. We'll probably only get this one done today. And so we have a look at it like this. Be grateful and show appreciation for all we have and don't have. So often we don't think of that, things we don't have. Actually, what if you don't want to have a cold or something like that? Be grateful and appreciative you don't have it. If you like to go, let's say you don't like the city, it's too busy for you, and you live on the beach, or you live in the countryside or in the outer suburbs where you've got a nice park close by. Be grateful and show appreciation for the fact you don't have to live in that busy city or be in the busy city, okay? So that's probably a bit of a silly example, but I think you know what I mean. There's certain things we don't want, It's like, I remember this years ago now, but this subject came up recently with friends on the phone, I think, and actually, or Skype. I came down to Phillip Island probably something like 10 years ago on a Saturday after teaching a class. The Sunday classes, for some reason, weren't on that week. So I came down earlier than normal. And I arrived just before the house, maybe 5 minutes drive from the house. And there was a really bad accident. And very unfortunate for the people, And anyway, so just to let you know, I stayed there for 7.25 hours. Yeah, to wait to get through to home. Because it took a long time to clear away this thing, this accident and the remains of it. Very unfortunate. But you know what? I was very fortunate that I wasn't there 10 minutes earlier. I may have been involved in the accident. That's a very extreme example, okay? But so be grateful for what you do have that brings happiness, that brings goodness, that is good, and be grateful and also appreciative of those things you don't have that are harmful and so on, okay? So all of the great experiences we've had in the past, in the present, and the future in this life, for the lessons that we learn, for all of the precious opportunities to improve our wisdom and compassion, as mentioned before, that this life has presented us with. Be really grateful and appreciative of it. And even those difficult experiences we have, we can also appreciate them as well, because we can learn from them. And also at the same time, our karma ripening, the negative karma ripening as negative effects, then if we don't engage in those negative actions again, actually purifying the karma, so we didn't actually even finish that one. So I'll pick this up next week. And I hope you're enjoying these teachings like this. Different subject every week almost, isn't it? Or a few different subjects, but with the theme of practicing the Dharma with pure intentions. So I rejoice in your goodness. I rejoice in your studies, your practice, your Dharma sharing. Maintain this pure intention. Be kind to yourself primarily, and be kind to others. Namo Buddhaya. Namo Dharma.